All right, this is the Boys Down Bad podcast, episode 74, I believe. We need to start putting the episode numbers in.
Yeah, 74.
74. It's a good number.
Yeah.
Great interview at the end of this episode with James Williams. That kid fired me up.
Yeah, I was like getting pretty pumped up talking to him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those guys who is just ready to grind, especially Juco before. Like, anytime somebody goes Juco, it either ends in they're a hardo softball player or they're going to be like a stud like D1 player.
Yeah. And I think he's going to be a stud D1 player.
Yeah.
He just fired me up. It takes a lot going through Juco, just from what I've heard. So
yeah,
being able to, he calls them the trenches, getting through the trenches. Mad respect to him. Excited to see what he can do for the Huskers moving forward. The No Block No Rock podcast awards.
Yep.
They are August 19th, I believe.
18th. Nope, 19th.
August 19th.
Yeah.
And so we had you guys vote to nominate us for some categories, but now we need you to vote for us in the categories.
To actually win.
Because we're going up against some other podcasts. So what categories are we nominated for?
Yeah, so we're nominated for MVP, which is just best overall. We'd love to win that.
Sure,
folks.
A lot of good podcasts out there, so it'll be a good race.
Best guest, which if you only have time to vote for one, you should vote for all of them. But if you have time to vote for one, do best guest.
Yep,
that's something we absolutely grind on every week, basically every week since like a year ago or like 6 months ago. We've had a guest,
which is kind of crazy to think about, but yeah.
Yeah. Bet Your Mortgage. There's 2 nominated for that.
Hey, we won one parlay that one time.
You're up units betting with us.
You are up units.
And then New Kids on the Block, which is, I believe, 1 year or newer. So best guess, that's our number one priority, I think.
Yeah.
MVP is a lot to ask for. We know we're a young podcast, but
going up against the Go Big Redcast guys, it's tough.
Yeah. But best guess.
Who knows?
That's the one that we grind for. We put in a lot of extra work. It's a lot of DMs sent, a lot of coordinating times.
And part of that is to the guys that we interview, too.
Yeah.
We appreciate them coming on.
Oh, absolutely.
So for them, too.
Yeah. If you don't want to vote for us, vote because of us personally.
Yeah.
Vote for us because of the guys.
Yeah. Support the boys.
Show the recruits some love.
Absolutely. So that I'm going to put the link in the description of the YouTube video, and then we'll be firing out posts to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
So follow us on those.
Follow us on those, and
subscribe.
We'll shoot out the link. Follow, subscribe, like,
comment,
share. We'll throw out the link. Yeah, we'd appreciate a couple votes.
Yeah.
Should we move on to your question? Peter said he had a question for me.
Yeah, so I saw this on TikTok from the Bread Basket guys on TikTok. Good follow. They do a lot of like drafts. They do a lot of like, would you rather do this like for this amount? So it all stemmed from, would you rather take $1 million right now, or you get 20 possessions against LeBron James one-on-one for, I think it was $5 or $10 million. So you get $1 million, you have to do nothing. Or you get 20 possessions against LeBron. Let's just say it's for $5 million. If you don't,
have to score?
You have to score. If you don't score, you get 0. Correct.
So 1 million versus 5?
Yeah.
Oof. I just take the $1 million, but I feel like it's my 3-point percentage. He would just check me the ball. I could shoot a 3, and I think I could make 1 out of 20.
The thing is, so we're saying, yeah, you started at the top of the key. So we were driving back from a golf round, and I think you take the $1 million. I don't think there's any chance you score on LeBron. We put the caveat in, he's playing regular season defense, but he is trying. and he knows what this is for. So he knows if you score on him, you get $5 million. So then me and Keaton were talking about it. Say you get 50 possessions against LeBron. We took the money out of it, just like, how many times do you think you could score on LeBron? You get 50 possessions, you start at the top of the key, playing regular season defense, giving effort, but it's not like there's 30 seconds left in the finals.
Well, I know for a fact that if I try to drive, I'm not scoring.
Correct.
For the rest of my life. You could give me infinity tries and I wouldn't score. The only way I would score is he checks me the ball and I immediately shoot a 3.
Yeah, but then, so he has a 7-foot wingspan. He's 6'9", so he's huge.
Yeah. 6'9". Is Reimer 6'9"?
Reimers is 6'6" or 6'7". So Keaton said he could score 6 times on LeBron.
Out of how many times?
50.
No.
I said there's no chance, because I don't think whoever it is, I don't think you're getting past him.
No.
And even if like you get him a little bit off balance, his wingspan covers it enough to where he's going to block your shot.
Can I draw a foul?
Yeah. I think that just resets your possession though.
Oh, okay. Then no.
So
if I draw a foul and I get like a free throw, then maybe.
Yeah. So Keaton had said 6. I had said 0. So we texted Clay and Nate, because that was easily our 2 best basketball playing friends.
Mm-hmm.
Nate said I would not. Nate said I wouldn't even get a shot up.
Yeah.
And he also said if he's trying, I don't think I could dribble. That's the thing, is you have to like.
Yeah.
I do like your idea of he checks it to you and you just fire.
How far away does he have to be when he checks it?
I think if he knows like that it's a challenge, I feel like he's not going to just like give you enough space to get a comfortable 3 off. Clay said maybe 5, but it would be tough.
Clay could maybe do it because he's taller.
Yeah. I think Clay has the best chance.
I want to say I can make 1 3.
Yeah. I mean, I just think even if you fire it quick, you're like, what's your percentage of like rapid fire 3s with no one covering you?
I haven't shot a basketball in a while, so
that's the thing. Is like, Keen was like, I'll just get past him. I'm like,
you're not going to get past
I don't think anyone is getting past him.
No, I don't think so.
So I think in the scenario, you take the $1 million, because I don't think. I mean, there's no chance I would get her by him.
That's a good question.
I wouldn't get him off balance to where I have enough room to like shoot a 3. I think.
I think you just have your only chance is just to rapid fire a 3.
Yeah.
And I think. I don't know. I think I could make 1. I would have to I would have to see someone else do it like as an example.
I would need to see how far he is.
Yeah. If he's right, if he's basically guarding me when he checks the ball, then no chance.
I think he's like,
But if he gives me like an opportunity to maybe get a shot over his jump, then maybe.
Yeah, I think the only chance any of us have is he checks it to you at like a semi-normal distance away, and you just get him like slowed down a little bit and just fire. But also, you do that 5 times and you miss.
Yeah.
He's going to start guarding you closer.
Yeah. Because he knows.
He sees your strategy and he's like, well, I'm not just going to let him fire.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah, I think
What did Jackson say?
Jackson said I take the $1 million because there's no chance I score. And I think Derek also said you just take the money.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I think there's no chance. And like
maybe we'll hit up LeBron and see if we can test it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Good question. Short one today since we're on a short week because of the 4th and only have 2 boys here. We're just going to end with some roulette real quick.
17 for Chris. 15 for Trevin. I'm going to go with 24. Oh, I thought you were going for 0.
All right.
All right. What do we got?
Oh, it's not even close. Oh, it was
Oh,
almost
35.
12.
Yeah, one more. Just one more.
Well, no one's here.
Yeah, so we'll just do one more. And everybody will be happy with just 2.
This is so bad.
Oh, 27 Fultz.
Shoot.
Red 27.
Red 27.
No
Dang.
winner. Another
All right.
loser.
Enjoy James Williams. Awesome pod with him.
Yep.
And yeah, have yourselves a top 10 weekend.
So I'm from y'all will never believe this because y'all are in Lincoln, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
we're in Lincoln. Yeah.
Had a feeling. So I'm from Norman, Oklahoma.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So my dad played football at the University of Oklahoma. My mom swam there, and my grandpa also played football for Oklahoma. So not gonna lie, was not the biggest Nebraska fan growing up, but 1,000% am now.
Hey, that's understandable. I went to my first Oklahoma game. What was that? 2 years ago? Were we there or 3?
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago. Norman they get rowdy, man. It's pretty sweet.
That's true. But I mean, so far my experience in Lincoln's been better. So
Oh yeah. Well, it's not even comparable.
no, I appreciate y'all having me on. My story is basically it's a long and winding one. So in high school, the reason nobody had ever heard about me was because I didn't start until I was a senior. So for the first 3 years, sat the bench, it was terrible. But my senior year did really well. Had 18 sacks, like 108 tackles, 35 tackles for loss. I was balling out. Problem was that my grades were terrible. So every school that wanted to recruit me physically couldn't because I wasn't even Division I eligible. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll just go the Juco route. And so I ended up doing the Juco route. It was hard. It's basically everything you do so far since I've been in Nebraska. It's basically the same thing, but you're just not like it. You don't get the benefits of all the stuff at Nebraska. So it was hard. And I didn't even have a whole lot of love coming out of JUCO because I didn't play a ton. I started towards the end of the year, but like towards the beginning of the year, I was backup, like wasn't playing a whole lot. And man, I got invited to a post grad camp from Nebraska, balled out there. They're like, hey, like we want you now. Like, what's it gonna take? And now I'm here.
Dang, that is a crazy story, man.
For sure.
Is there? I know in baseball, like the JUCO. There's like no rules in JUCO. Like you can practice for as long as you want. Like it's crazy. Is it like that in football?
Absolutely not. There is some regulation, like you can't like practice when it's 100 degrees outside, but because they don't have somebody like there to watch them and make sure they're actually treating us like well, they'll go off like they'll do practices off the book, but they'll call them like something else. It's like team bonding exercise, and nah, they're making us run.
Team bonding, but you guys are just working your asses off.
Yeah, running up a big ass hill, like.
That's crazy. So growing up, so you're from Norman, you said?
Yeah, I was born on campus there.
Okay, and then so you went to high school in Kansas City?
Yeah, moved around a little bit. I actually lived in Omaha for a little bit. I would have gone to Millard West if anybody was.
Yes,
if anybody knows.
absolutely. We know Wildcats, baby. So was it always football for you growing up? Like, was that your dream, or what did you want to do growing up?
It was football, and it was always college football. So the first game I ever watched was like I ever remember watching was the 2009 maybe 2010 Big Ten championship. It was Nebraska Texas. The game Dominican Sue had 4 sacks on Colt McCoy. Like from that moment on, like I have wanted to play football my entire life. Like I was a pretty good basketball player. I couldn't shoot, but like like basketball is okay. I never really loved baseball, but football's been one I wanted to do since I was a kid.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so you kind of talked a little bit about like how you went the JUCO route. How did you end up at Iowa Central?
So nobody had like known what I wanted to do like in the recruiting process. So they came in super late and were like, "Hey, we can offer you this, 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 and this, and like, we can get you out as whenever you want." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Well, that sounds fine. I'll just sign there and headed there." I didn't have a whole lot of options with JUCOs because nobody knew I wanted to go JUCO. They all thought I was going to try and go walk on somewhere at D1 because they didn't know how bad my grades were.
Yeah, and then kind of what was your experience like during JUCO football?
That's I call it the trenches because it's terrible, man. It's it's so bad. It's like we like I was talking to some of the kids because obviously I haven't been here around like long enough or whatever, but I'm talking to some of the older kids on the team, like, man, like what was Ireland like last year when they were playing against Northwestern? Like, oh man, we stayed in these nice fancy 5-star hotels. Like apparently like Joe Biden goes and stays there when he's overseas. I was like, man, that's crazy. Like I sat in the middle of a steaming hot bus for that bathroom was out of order for 13 hours and stayed in a low-rent 3-star hotel. And they were out of breakfast the morning I went upstairs because the offensive lineman ate first.
Well, you can't do that. You can't send the O lineman in through.
That was stupid, right? Like,
So I guess what do you anticipate like the biggest difference or like challenge is going to be going from JUCO to Division One?
probably just the atmosphere. It's from my experience so far, it's essentially the same type of football, like the same type of lifting. It's just like a lot different for me here because it's a lot easier for me. Like, I have people who are going to get me bigger, stronger, and faster, and like can teach me the game at a different level that I didn't have access to. Just the biggest thing is the atmosphere. Obviously, like Nebraska is known for its fans. Like 392 consecutive sellouts is not a joke. Like it's going to be loud in there, and they're adding even more seats. Like that's going to be a whole different thing I got to get used to. But once I do, it'll be good.
Yeah, Husker Nation is insane. Have you had any, or I guess, what has the reach out been like from Husker Nation since you committed? Has it just been insane?
Man, Husker Nation loves football, man. I received like I had to turn my ringer off because of the amount of like notifications I had. My phone was blowing up. Like I love Nebraska football so far.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do on Twitter is like look at recruits to Nebraska and just see how many comments they get to like their commitment posts. It's insane.
Like a million different go big reds, like home, like oh, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, 100%. Take us to the story of how you actually got to Nebraska.
So it was it's kind of a long story. So I played last season at JUCO. I wasn't quite sure if I was academically eligible because I was like kind of on the line. And so, that was kind of hindering my recruiting, and I wasn't getting recruited by anybody. And I was like, where am I going to go with this? Like, I don't want to have to go back to JUCO for another year. And I got a DM from a couple different coaches at Nebraska, and they were like, "Hey, come to our post grad only camp." So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be facing kids that are my age anyway. And there was only 2 defensive linemen. I don't know why I put up 2 fingers. There was only 2 defensive linemen that showed up. So I got like full reps, full access in front of Coach Knighton, and he ended up loving me. And he was like, "Hey, like, we need to go get you to see Matt Rhule pronto." And like that was shocking to me because Matt Rhule's damn coach of the Carolina Panthers last year. I'm getting ready to talk to him. Like he came in there, was super nice. He's like, "What do I need to do to get you here?" I was like, "I'll sign tomorrow." He moved hell and earth to make sure I could get here as early as I did.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have talked to a lot of recruits just about Rhule. What kind of guy is he? Because like that story you just shared kind of speaks to it, I think. But yeah, what kind of guy is Rhule?
So I haven't like I don't know him like a whole lot outside of the recruiting process, like how he is actually as a coach because they were off last week. But like from what I've seen so far, he's a pretty chill dude. Like he's very old school. That's kind of why we're bringing the fullback back. But he's a cool dude. I like you would have no problem like calling him on the regular and being like, "Hey, like, I'm doing this or this and this or whatever." Like he's a down to earth guy. It's probably why he's such a good recruiter.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so one thing I've always kind of thought about because you're a preferred walk-on right now, right?
Yeah.
Is there like a little bit of an extra like chip on your shoulder as a preferred walk-on, or like I guess what's kind of the mindset of that?
Oh, for sure. And it's not just that, like it's some of it was like, like nobody I felt like wanted to recruit me out of JUCO. Like I've had a long, hard road to this point where I'm currently at. Like I feel like I got boulders on my shoulders, which is fine. Like and the movie they make is gonna be great. But like that's just another like thing to add to the fire, and it keeps me motivated and going.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good answer. Going back to Rhule a little bit, what do you think makes him such a great recruiter? Because he's absolutely killing it right now.
Oh, that's an understatement. No, it would not surprise me if Nebraska is back to our winning ways here in 2 3 years. I think part of it is like the recruiting game is like trying to make sure that you not only recruit the kids but the parents. Like so you want to make the parents feel safe, especially like Nebraska's honestly, like just being honest, it's not the world's greatest football recruiting game. Like, you're gonna need to grab kids from Texas, California, Georgia, Florida if you're gonna want to win games. Well, where have we been recruiting over? In Miami. Like the thing that makes him so great is he will get on those flights to go see you. He will talk to your parents. It's not your assistant of the assistant to the assistant. He is the one who is like, hey, I want you. What is it going to take you to get come to Nebraska? So that's a big part of it. And then the other part of it is just his pitch. Like it's not like he doesn't talk about himself the entire time. Like he could totally talk about what he's done at Temple and Baylor and with the Panthers, but he's like, I want to hear about you. And that to me was the most enticing thing.
100%. Does that make your parents feel like super comfortable too throughout the whole process?
Oh yeah, my mom's like, I have no problem sending you there. Like his rule is every coach has to call the parents every 2 weeks. You have to call once every 2 weeks, like just so you can check in and make sure that your kid is safe.
Wow.
So that I'm sure that totally persuades parents. And that's the reason my mom wanted me to come here.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
For sure.
So I guess what's one thing or like a couple things that you're most looking forward to at Nebraska?
So the fans so far, because holy hell, if they're blowing up my Twitter, let's see what they're like at the games. Getting to play in the Big Ten, especially like we got Michigan at home this year. We'll get to play USC and UCLA in the near future, like for my senior year. Like I'm excited about that. I'll get to go to Los Angeles. Like I'll get to play probably Malachi Nelson or whatever. Like I'll get to showcase my skills against the best of the best. Like Michigan's offensive line's won the Joe Moore Award. Like I want to play against the best, and this is the best.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, our schedule that year is gonna be tough, but I feel like that's give Rhule that 3 or 4 year mark to where he's got all his guys, he's ready to roll, and then put him up to the test against the best teams in the nation. I'm excited to see it.
For sure. And yeah, the schedule my senior year is kind of a gauntlet. We're at Ohio State, at USC, and Michigan at home, but I don't doubt by then we'll be rolling. This will be a tractor moving downhill.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is there anyone like a recruit or maybe a guy on the team right now that you've kind of bonded with?
Chief Borders.
Let's go. That's awesome. I'm excited to see him play.
He's electric, man. So he plays the jack, which is like kind of a DN outside linebacker combo. So I end up seeing him a lot. I remember, so I have size 18 feet. So I got big clunky feet, right? So first day out there, like, we have to special order you cleats. We're gonna have to talk to Adidas. So for now, just wear these ones. And they gave me like some offensive line cleats that were hard to like move around in. I remember as soon as we got done with the day, he grabbed me like around the shoulder and he brought me into the equipment manager's like room and he's like, this ain't okay. Like we need to get this kid better cleats now. I was like, man, I appreciate you.
That's awesome. Yeah, you need guys like that in the locker room.
Oh, 1000%. And it's a great locker room. Like I don't even I love a lot of the offensive linemen in there, which you're not supposed to do. So my favorite teammate is Chubba. Chubba is hilarious. That dude has the world's most energy at 6:20 in the morning.
We love that. That's awesome.
I guess, is there one player like now or like growing up in like high school and then even at JUCO that you really tried to like model your game after?
Well, for a while it was Chase Young. Chase Young, I would watch his highlights for every single game, and like that was who I want to be like. And we have pretty similar builds. Obviously, he's a hell of a lot like stronger than I am right now, but like we got we got similar type games. Like I can bend just as athletically as he can. It's slowly more evolved into Micah Parsons because that's the type of game I want, and that's the type of game I can play. I got to get a little faster.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about playing DN? Because I mean, aside from like the skill positions on offense, I feel like D end would be the most fun.
For sure. So I would have had longer arms than Tyree Wilson at the draft, who had the longest wingspan. So my favorite part is like being able to like control like the state of the game. To me, the 5 most important positions in football are quarterback, defensive or edge rusher, so you can go get the other person's quarterback, off like a good right tackle to stop that, a receiver, and a corner. But you got to be able to get after other people's quarterbacks if you want to stop it, if you want to like control the game. So there's a lot of notoriety and like fame that comes with that. Mm-hmm. If I were to walk down the street and ask a million different people who, let's say Micah Parsons or Nick Chubb or TJ Watt were, they would know. If I were to ask them who like Fred Warner or like Bobby Wagner was, that's a different story. They're not gonna be able to name as many of those guys. So right. There's a lot of like fame and notoriety that comes with that's what I love.
Yeah, what's the toughest part about playing D end, or maybe the thing that you're really working on right now to get better at?
The amount of weight I have to gain. So I played my senior season at 210 pounds. Right now I'm at 245, and I'm on the upward trajectory, but it's hard because I've had to eat a lot more than I ever have, like lifting a lot heavier. It's a whole body change, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I just got one more question. What would be like the biggest piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's kind of grinding through Juco, not sure if they're, want to keep going, but I guess what would you give them advice on?
I guess what I would say is stay the course, stay the path. Like for the longest time, I was so scared that I was never going to make it out. Like I was going to be another failed JUCO story. And then along comes Nebraska, and now I'm up here playing football at Nebraska. And it came out of absolutely nowhere. So my advice would just be like, stay the course, like be mindful of what you're doing. Don't make stupid decisions when you're at like a lower point. So that way, when you get back up to that higher point, you're ready to go.
That's a great answer.
Yeah,
I love that. My last question for you. I want to give you a chance to pump up the Husker Nation a little bit. What is Husker Nation getting in James Williams?
You're getting a fierce competitor, a game-changing athlete, and a great leader. Some of the most notable things about me is that like after I'll get a sack, celebration every time, because I'm just that fierce of a competitor, and I want to let it be known that I am here and I'm ready to go.
Absolutely, show some emotion. I love that.
For sure. And being the great leader, like I want to make sure, I want to bring this program back to the glory days and where we can be and where I think we will be.
All right, that just fired me up a little bit.
I love that.
Awesome. James, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate y'all, man. I can't wait to listen to it.
You bet. Go Big Red.
Yep.
Okay, go Big Red.
Go. See you, man.